Hello and welcome back to my channel, guys. So it's G here. I skipped a video last week. I've been super busy doing so much that I'm going to be sharing with you guys soon, but I wanted to talk today a little bit about I've been doing some videos and I've basically been kind of trying to engage what you guys are interested in. So my last video I did where I kind of gave some advice to white men who are interested in dating black women did really well. I got some comments, I got some new subscribers after that video. So I thought today I would talk to black women about how we can get over the barriers of dating out. Subscribe to my channel and let's have this quick discussion. Okay, now if you guys have followed my channel, I am not someone who advocates like one ethnicity is better than someone else. I think that men are trash in general, but you have to be open to different dumps to find the trash you prefer. That sounds terrible, but no, what I really mean is that we just need to keep our options open. I have always advocated to do just that. I don't discriminate, I never did, and I was able to find someone here in Italy that I guess suits me. So I think about this because when I started dating, or I think when people started to realize, especially black women started to realize like I was open to dating people other than black men, I started getting lots and lots of questions like, oh, but how, I don't think I could, the pink peen. Everyone's scared of that. So I thought, you know, it's interesting because as black women, we create barriers for ourselves. And a lot of it, when you really think to it, at least when I think about it, can be related back to how we see ourselves through black men. Guys, this is probably the biggest barrier for a lot of women. We talk ourselves out of some of the possibilities because, you know, we've been beaten down and told so many times, like, our hair is a problem, our look is a problem, that only a special type of person can really appreciate a black woman, as though the goddesses that we are cannot be appreciated by everyone. I think that we have heard that around us for so long that we created a barrier and a belief that somehow our beauty is not appreciated broadly. And it's one of those things when you're out and you see a guy that's cute and you're like, but then you say to yourself like, oh, I wonder if he dates black women. Now, the funny thing about that is most black women have to ask that even if they are talking about or seeing a black man, right? So if you have to ask that about a black man, I think that when you started like filtering in down to like other ethnicities, then you're definitely like, I have to ask those questions about someone who's black. It's even stronger sense when it's someone who's not, right? So this is something we need to get over. I look back and I think, I'm like, when was the first kind of interest? And like, how did I not create this barrier for myself? One of the things I look back and I think the first guy who tried to, I guess, date me, take me out, that was not black, I was in high school. He was Mexican. And it's interesting because I thought he was cute, but I did have some hesitation and the truth is, actually, the first hesitation wasn't even because he was Mexican, right, or not black. The hesitation was more because he dated like the school hot girl and I was not. even close to being a hot girl in high school. So, I felt like he might have expectations of me that I was not willing or interested at that point in my time in following through with. So that was my big barrier with him, more so than I guess anything else. And of course, I was young, so I filtered it through something that probably wasn't even existed. Like, she may not even have, like, she had a reputation that I can't confirm. So you look back at things and it's just like, oh, well, that was stupid. But either way, he was very kind. He was very nice. I mean, I kind of entertained his interests, but I wasn't ready to like jump in. And it wasn't even because he was Mexican. It was because of that other thing. So, but that was the first thing when I was like, you know what? I should be open to everybody, like, I think that was my first kind of thing, like, well, I can date anybody. It's not, I have no limits in who I date. And that became true. I had no limits in who I dated. When I was dating, I didn't have those limits, right? So I think that was the beginning of that. So I think that's the first thing. We have to stop filtering ourselves through what we think broader society thinks. We see all this stuff. We know that it exists. There's so much racism associated with, being a woman of color, being a Black woman. And we kind of started making those macro things very micro and related to us individually, when in truth is, yes, the macro issues exist, but us on these small scales can mostly do what we want to do. The other thing that what seems to be a barrier is feeling like you are giving up something. And I don't really know all of what people think they might be giving up, but some of it's really properly superficial. At least in some of my experiences and conversations with people, is properly superficial. I'm going to be honest, like when I was growing up, when you grow up, I think you picture the people around you as your future, and to a certain extent. So like my dream man was definitely not someone I imagined, like not physically the person that I'm with, like not even close, right? Like just my dream man, like it was a dream. So I think that when we start trying to determine who we really are, and then who could really fit us, our adjustments start then. And that's not, that's not making that's not settling. That's the word I was looking for. That's not settling. That's just learning. That's being realistic. That's being, well, you know what? The type physically that I thought I was going to be with isn't as important as these other things. So like that's a big deal. People think they're going to sacrifice something, then they always think they're going to end up with somebody who does not know how to like there's this idea that only certain ethnicities of people can satisfy a woman. That is not true. That is not true. We all know that, honestly, a lot of Black men have benefited from the myth of the big Black dong, and they have not lived up to it. So those, and just even if it's big, doesn't know, like, you gotta know what you're doing, right? So let's, like, honestly, the variety is equal across all ethnicities. I'm pretty sure of it. I had a friend who was dating this guy, 6'4" Black guy, built like, thin, built like a basketball player kind of guy. And when he dropped trowel, this is what she saw. Fully prepared to disappoint. So y'all, it's not promised. In any regard, it's just not promised. It's trial and error, just like everything else. So that should not be a barrier. It should not be a thing you think. And I think one of the biggest things is like, how can you date a colonizer? How can you sleep with a colonizer? Some women are still thinking that. And again, it's one of those things where I kind of get it, you know, like white on white crime is like Russia invading Ukraine. It's not Pookie shooting. Right. So, but we kind of accept that the bigger grandiose things as normal because it's what we're used to. The thing of it is, again, macro and micro, there's bad people across the board. And if you're honest, Black women are more abused in relationships with Black men. You know, the statistics are there. Full stop. So if you're worried about being in danger, you're worried about like, could he end up being like Dexter or some sort of, you know, weird psycho killer? There's no promises. If you are out in this world dating males, you're putting your life in danger. Full stop. And we take those calculated risks. But the thing of the matter is, like, just because someone looks like us, we know we're not necessarily safer. We know that it's not going to necessarily be a better experience for us emotionally or mentally either. So if you have to have those same kind of guards and barriers for meeting somebody who, you know, you guys come from similar experiences, what's the difference with the other? I mean, to me, there's not much of a difference. You know, if you feel like it's someone you can't trust, it's just someone you can't trust. So I think that's something that we've created in our heads to kind of still hold on to. And I know the history of all of this, but I think it's just something that when you open yourself up and that other person too is open, you guys can overcome so many things. And the conversations you have when a partner who's open and honest, even those that are associated with race, become something that can put you together closer and come to you know, serious understandings. And these are sometimes conversations you wouldn't have with someone who looks like you, who might have the same experience as you, because you take certain things for granted. And that taking for granted sometimes leads to other issues. And it's also that thing where if they think that their struggle is bigger than yours, they might not even validate your struggle. So, I mean, I think that those are things that are really, really important to consider and to like really understand. Like, somebody who wants to be with you, wants to understand you, regardless of ethnicity, are going to open up to your experiences and want to know. So don't let that be a thing, you know, like someone's gonna do it and they'd be happy to understand. And I know some people are like, I don't want to teach somebody about, you know, the truth of the matter is, if they are for real and honest with themselves, like as humans, you don't need to teach. You might have to teach them certain things, like how to play spades, like what, you know, certain things that they might not have experienced. There might be some learning curves, but the basics should be there. The understanding that as a Black woman, you have a struggle that is different and more profound. So that basis is there. They might not know the details in the struggle, but that basis is there. And like, that's something, a challenge to find in any man, okay? Like, any man who's willing to understand the struggle of a woman, let alone Black women. So I think that those are things that, if we're honest, we're not getting anything better or different from people who look exactly like you. So why not be open? Why not try a new thing? Why not just say, I'm gorgeous and everybody wants me anyway? Let me bless this world with the possibility of pleasing me. Guys, have you subscribed to my channel? This is it for now. I think I'm going to do another chat for Black women, the type of white men to stay away from. I think that's important too, because you can't just be out here with all of them. So subscribe, guys. I enjoyed chatting with you. I am in the country-ish area. It's like I'm at my in-laws' house. we're doing some things out in this area. So that's it. I'll talk to you soon. Let's chat in the comments, and ciao ciao for now.